All right, so continuing what we did on Friday, we're talking about financial models and understanding what's going on. Chase Bank offers a certificate of deposit, a CD. Okay, this is the place where you put your money for an extended period of time to earn a little bit more back. This option requires you to leave your money in that 12-month account for 0.15% interest compounded once at the end of the 12-month period. They also offer a more flexible savings account that pays you 0.01% compounded monthly. If you deposit $5,600 into the CD, how long will you have to wait? Or, I'm sorry, how much money will you have after that 12-month period? Okay, so we're setting this thing up. Let's see how this works. So which formula are we using? Are we using the PERT formula or the other one? The other one. That's a great question I just had. Y equals, no, I just messed that up. A equals P times 1 plus R over N and T. What's something we know here? Megan C., what's something you can plug in? 5,600. That's my principal. That's how much I'm starting with. Great. What is something else here, Jack? What else can I plug in? Yeah, 0.0015. It looks weird because it's so small. But remember, if it's 0.15%, you got to move it 2 times to make it a decimal. Okay, it's more than even you would normally think about. 0.0015 is my R. Max, what else can I plug in? The N is 1. What about your T? It's also 1. That's a pretty easy question in terms of that. So it's just 1 and 1. Let's just type that in. So it's 5,600. I'll clear out that nonsense. 5,600 parentheses 1 plus 0.0015 divided by 1 raised to the 1. After 12 months, I've got $5,608.40. Balling up in here. Great. That's my money after 1 year in this CD. Okay, you only earned 0.015%. That's nothing. Let's compare that to what an actual Chase savings account is. Okay, so a Chase savings account, you have more flexibility when you have a savings account. You can put your money in, you can take your money out. There's no penalty when you take your money out, but you're getting a lesser interest rate. A more flexible savings account that's going to pay you 0.01% compounded monthly. And our question is, how long do we need to leave that same $5,600 in an account in order to earn the same as you did in the CD? So same setup. Haley, what's something I can plug in here?
For A, you can plug in the $5,608.
Yep, $5,608.40 because I'm trying to get that same amount. Okay, I'm trying to earn the same amount, so that's going to be my A. That's what I want to end with. My principal is going to be the same. I'm still plugging in 5,600. 1 plus. Sam K, what else do I know here? My rate. What am I going to plug in here?
0.0001.
Yep, 3 zeros there, 0.0001 because it's 0.01%, and I got to move it 2 times to make a decimal. 0.0001 all over. Eli, what else do I know? What's my N going to be?
12.
N is 12 because I'm compounding monthly. My N is 12, and I'm searching for T. I'm looking for how long it's going to be. If I want to solve this thing, Herman, what can I do next to try to solve it? Okay, yep, I agree with you. Let's do that here in a second. I'm going to divide by 5,600, but you're totally right. We can simplify that part as well. I'm going to divide by 5,600. So in my calculator, I'm taking that number right there and dividing it by 5,600. I get 1.0015, which makes sense because I earned that percent, 0.0015. That's going to cancel. And then Herman made a good point of saying, this is just a number. Let's figure out what that number is. So in her calculator, she can take 1 plus 0.0001 divided by 12. Hit enter. Ooh. That's kind of ugly. Okay, that's kind of weird. I don't really want to write that decimal down. And so for the sake of ease, I'm going to say that, I'm just going to make a note of this on my paper, that 1 plus 0.0001 divided by 12, I'm going to call that A. And we do this a lot in calculus. For right now, it's just saying, hey, I don't want to write down what that decimal is going to be. It's 1 point a billion decimals. Okay. So what's a to the 12t? We simplified it down. It's there in my calculator. It's right there. I just don't want to round it. So if I wanted to now solve, what would I need to do next? Log, and what base should I use with that log? A. I'm just going to say log A, where A represents this number right here. So that's going to cancel over here. I'm then in my calculator going to go alpha F2, log base. I'm doing log base A. Well, A is just that thing right there. And inside the parentheses is going to be that number right there. 179.873. Again, I'm not actually rounding it. I'm just writing it down, even though it's going to stay in my calculator. If I round it, then it's going to get me a wrong answer. That's equal to 12t. So if I want to solve this the real way, then all I need to left to do is divide by 12, divide by 12. That's going to cancel. Take that thing and divide it by 12, and I get 14.989. So the one account, the CD, even though it earned 0.15%, it was going to take me 15 years. Well, doing it in the other one, compounded monthly I made $8, but it took me 1 year. In order to get the same amount with the regular savings account, it's going to take me 15 years to get that same amount. So although 0.000 or 0.0015 didn't seem like a lot, it's still a much better deal than the other account. Yes, ma'am.
Why couldn't you have just taken 0.0015 or 0.0001?
Because it was compounded differently. Because we were compounding monthly, it did change it. And it didn't change it substantially in this case, but it did matter. Does that make sense? It looks like we could just say, oh, it's this and that, but it's not, just based on the monthly compounded. Questions here? We could probably have used a little bit more exciting number to make it not quite so simple, but that's the basics. All right, pull out your notes from yesterday. We're going to complete those from Friday. All right, today, with financial models, all we have left to do is compare. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. What happens when you have two different bank accounts and it's not in the same language, but we still want to be able to compare them? Okay, for example, which one's a better deal? 7% compounded semi-annually. So you have an account, you're going to get 7% interest rate, but you're only going to compound it twice. We're going to compare that to 6.89% compounded continuously. Which one do we think is better, first or second? Raise your hand if you think the first one's better. Raise your hand if you think the second one's better. Are you positive on that? No. We're guessing. We're going to use our brains. We're all pretty smart. We guessed the second one's probably a little bit better, but we don't know for sure. Okay? So to do that, we're going to find the effective rate of interest. Or if you go online, this is often called the APY. Okay? APY is going to stand for the annual percentage yield. Annual percentage yield. Otherwise, just telling you, hey, this is written really weird. This is compounded monthly or daily or continuously. What would it look like as a percentage rate if it were just the same as being compounded annually? So we're kind of putting them in the same description. Hey, what would this be like if it were just annually? What would that get you? So to do that, we have two new formulas. I'm not going to give you these formulas on the test. You need to know them. But the good news is it's easy. Okay? It's the same formula we always deal with, except for A and T is just 1. Okay? It doesn't matter how much I started with. We're just assuming it's 1. Okay? And the time, we're only doing 1 because it's a yearly thing. We're trying to figure out T. We subtract 1 at the end because otherwise you're going to get like 1.07, and we want to just be 0.07. We want to get it to a rate. Okay? But it'll make sense as we go. All right, so let's find this. If I have 7% compounded semi-annually, what is that the same as if I were to just say, all right, not semi-annually, but just annually? What would that rate be? Okay, so we're going to go APY is going to be equal to. My normal formula, again, looks like this. A times P plus 1. I'm sorry. Oh, my goodness. What garbage did I just write? P times 1 plus R over N times NT. But the only thing I'm going to plug in is 1 plus my rate, so 0.07, 0.07. What's my n? Show me the fingers. What's your n going to be? N is 2 because I'm doing it semi-annually. And then I'm going to raise it to the second power. Okay, second power because my n is 2 and my time is 1 for this setup. Type that in. See what you get. We type it in. We hit enter. Notice that my decimal looks like that. See how it's 100% because he gets that 1. That's why the formula that they gave you just subtracted 1. It's trying to get just to the interest rate. The interest rate is that 7.12, 7.122, 7.123 by the time we round. So we compounded 7% semi-annually. That would be the same as if I compounded annually at 7.1%. Does that kind of make sense how that works? The second one, 6.89%, but we're compounding continuously. 6.89%, but we're going to compound continuously. So now I'm doing the second one, APY. Our formula normally looks like this. I don't need to plug anything in for principal. I just need to plug in my rate. My rate is going to be 0.0689, and my T is still 1. So it's just really e to the 0.0689. Figure out what you get there. Again, I'm not going to give you these formulas, but they're pretty easy to understand. I hope. We type it in, we hit enter, we get this. But we get that 1 in front. We really just subtract 1 to get it just down to the decimal. But again, hopefully that should make sense. So my new interest rate is 7.133. That would be what it would look like. Instead of compounding continuously at 6.89, it gets you the same amount that you would get if you compounded continuously, annually at 7.133. Which one do we want, the first or the second? Second. A little bit higher interest rate, so that's the one we want. Not a whole lot different, but that's the one I'm trying to find. Make sense on how we compare those two accounts? You can do it lots of different ways. That's how we're going to compare them. Okay, let's try it again with your neighbor here. Suppose you want to buy a 5-year certificate of deposit. So we just talked about this in Bellward. You visit 3 banks to determine their CD rates. American Express offers you 2.15% compounded monthly. First Internet Bank offers you 2.2 quarterly. And Discover is 2.12 daily. Determine which one you think is the best deal. Go. Figure that out with your neighbor. Try to calculate which one is the best deal. So the first thing that always happens when you look at this problem is you see First Internet Bank and you think that's like the most made up name ever. There's actually a First Internet Bank. There's one in Fishers. It's not that crazy. First Internet Bank, there it is. Boom. It opens. It's open right now and closes at 5 p.m. later today. Just so you can see now, some of these numbers are made up. Okay, at least a little bit. But you can Google this right now and figure out what it is. But if I go First Internet Bank and look at CDs, you can see what the actual CD rate is for the day. So First Internet Bank.
Does it change every day?
It can, yeah. And so it is. It's going to be a pretty constant thing. Now, it's not like every day, but yeah, it can change pretty constantly. So if you look right now, if you opened a 3-month CD, you're getting 0.25%. So not great. The longer you put it in the account, the better you're going to get. So 60 months, so 5-year account, that's 1% interest. It's pretty good. You can get 1% interest at this point, 1% free money every year. Again, you can see here the APY is right next to it, the average percentage yield. It looks like it's a pretty straightforward loan. It doesn't say exactly how often it's compounding. You can see that you're getting maybe a little bit better based on what's happening there, but it's pretty straightforward down that one. You can search all these. So that was First Internet Bank. What was the other one? Discover. Let's see what Discover's looks like right now. CD account. High yield CDs. Let's go high yield. Right now, 1 year, you're getting 0.6%. I think that was a little better than First Internet Bank. They got a cool little sliding scale down here. Look at the graphics. So if you went 5 years, you invested $2,500, it's going to get you $1,020. Looks like you can type in whatever you want. So if I plugged in $1 million, how much money am I getting? Tell me, Discover. 40 grand. That's good. I'll take that. Yeah, you got to have that $1 million for 5 years that you don't need it. But yeah, it's free money, which isn't bad. Okay, you can find, if you got $1 million, don't invest it here. There's way better places you can invest that money.
Where would you invest?
I would hire someone to tell me where to invest it because I don't know necessarily. I know that you can earn way better. The more money you have to invest, the way more money you're going to get back. That's what banks are. Banks have a lot of money invested, and they get way better than 1% back. Let's do it. American Express. So American Express here offers you that. So Matthew, what did you put for American Express? What is your formula? .0215 because that's your interest rate. What's your N going to be here? 12 because you're doing it monthly. Good. And you raised it all to 12. What'd you get for your APY? Let's look at it. So we're doing parentheses 1 plus .0215 divided by 12, and I'm going to raise that to the 12th power. 0.0217. So 2.171. Does that make sense what we did there? You probably just typed in buttons weird. Let's go to the next one. Kendall, what'd you do for First Internet Bank? Oh, yeah, 0.022 over 4 because it's quarterly. Good. And raised it to the 4th power. What'd you get?
1.022.
So it's
and then I got 2.220%.
2.220%. Okay, good. Yeah, make sure we're subtracting that one out. We do just want to get it to an annual yield. So 2% is what we're earning each time. This is the weirdest thing about my handwriting, that if I write multiple 2s in a row, they change from a curly 2 to a regular 2. It happens all the time. It's super strange, and it just really stood out there. All right, last one. We are doing Discover Bank. Discover offers 2.12% compounded daily. So, Aaron H., what'd you get for that one? What was your setup? Over 365 because we're doing it daily. We raise it to the 365th power. What'd you end up getting here? 2.143%. Which bank are we investing our money in based off of this APY? First Internet Bank is the best one. So drive to Fisher's, open a bank account, and go from there. Questions so far?